people, for reasons I do not understand, to represent him in ways that are so stupid and so bombastic and defy every single rational trial strategy there is. Donald Trump, he must love to just give his money away, or whatever's left of his money, or whatever. He must love to hire bombastic, attention-seeking lawyers who love the limelight and love the passion and love the attention, and certainly are not too interested in trying to minimize as much as possible his exposure. Now, you can ask all day long, is the judicial system fair in this country? Donald Trump will say no. He will say no. His lawyers will say yes. I mean, no, excuse me. E. Jean Carroll will say, of course it's fair. Kaplan, her lawyer, will say, of course it's fair, because we went to a court. We went up against this very powerful man who blasphemed us and besmirched us and defamed us, and this is so incredible. The actual sexual battery, it wasn't rape, if I recall correctly. 5 million for the first case. 5 million. 5. That's the sexual battery plus the defamation, $5 million. Round 2, defamation, 83.3 million. You don't get verdicts like that in brain dead babies, who people with, I mean, catastrophic, neurological disease, neurological damage. You don't see that. It's the most incredible thing in the world. Alex Jones, $1 billion, $1 billion. What? You never hear $1 billion. Alex Jones got more than the Dominion case, 787 million. Rudy Giuliani, his defamation, 148 million, was it? 148. Rudy's was I think it was 148. Yeah, Rudy was 148 in punies and compensatory. I mean, this is the most incredible thing in the world. These damages, trial lawyers, you don't see these toxic tort cases. Maybe you're getting close to like tobacco settlements. And E. Jean Carroll, $83 million. A jury said yes. Not only the amount of her damages, but the amount of his culpability. Punitive damages are called exemplary damages or smart money. It's to punish. It's to punish him. This is incredible. I don't know how much actual liquid cash he has. Somebody say it's less than 200 mil. I think last time there was some form of, I think he put his initial money, some money aside initially for the 5 million. And then during the course, Letitia James, in her case, they're going through all of this forensic accounting business to see how much money he actually has liquid. He's running out of money. And here's the best part. I live in a world where the Trump fans say he's great. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. It's not his fault. He didn't do anything wrong. Look at this. I know this has absolutely no, I don't know what you want to call it, validity. Look at these polls I did on Twitter. Is the American legal system fair? The American legal system, not Trump's legal system, the American legal system. Is it fair? 226 votes, not exactly a big sample. Yes, 1.8%. What? That's my favorite. They didn't get that. 2.6%. No, 49.1%, and 46.5%. The American legal system, do you know how many people every day, day in and day out, are found guilty of crimes? Victims are compensated. The guilty are acquitted? No. But because of Trump, people are saying it's not a fair system. Because of Trump. Look at this one. Did Trump's antics hurt his case? Antics, again, people don't know, 18.3%. Some, yes, 20.4%. Absolutely, 16%. Absolutely not, 44.4%. Did Trump's antics hurt his case? This is how demented we are. His acted before that jury, showing contempt to the jury, contempt to the judge, getting up, getting that Helena Hamana, who doesn't even understand that the issue of liability, in essence, had been determined in a prior case. A jury found that he had committed sexual battery, that he had done this. And this was similar to what happened in the Alex Jones case, when this was almost res judicata. It was already established. It was already litigated. It was already done. They're not going to redo the case. They're not going to redo the case. They're not going to re-litigate this. Do you understand what I am saying? Let me try to say this again to you. And people may not understand it because people, of course, are experts when it comes to all things that are Donald Trump. If you've already established the fact, if a jury has determined that for whatever reason, if a jury has determined that E. Jean Carroll was the victim or that sexual battery through a finger or whatever had occurred, it's already been established by a jury. The issue then becomes when he said that she was crazy and that it never happened. And the issue then becomes what damages affected her. Let me try to say this again. In the first case, remember when Joe Tacopina, I don't know where he is. Maybe his eyes, maybe he had that Simon Cowell eye work. I'll never understand that, but that's my own fascination. Joe Tacopina, the original lawyer, handled that case. He was looking at $5 million. But Trump kept it up. She's crazy. She's not my type. She's a nut. I don't know who she is. Most people would have said, ignore her. You're running for president of the United States. I know I'm wasting my time with it. I know, because this Trump, it's, Trump derangement syndrome. It is true, but positive. There are people who just think this guy can do no wrong. He can do no wrong. He never makes a mistake. He's never stupid. Alina Hamana was actually was trying to talk about, what about the DNA on the dress? Whoa, that's already been lit. That's moot. We're past that one. There was time to The court said there was time for you to bring that up. We're not talking about that now. No, but what about the no? She wanted to relitigate it ab initio. She wanted to relitigate, and he said, "I'm going to tell you one more time. We're not going to do this. This is Judge Kaplan." And they're making him out to be some lefty, crazy judge. I would have said the same thing. This has been litigated. We're not going to talk about this. What is this? This is where people who all of a sudden find themselves, because they're experts. Oh, they're experts in everything. They're experts in everything. They know law. They know everything. Oh, they're just, oh, God, they are so smart. If he would have sat down, kept his mouth shut, showed the jury, wow, this guy's really respectful to sit there, they could have argued over the fact. They could have said, I do not believe that in their own particular evidence, did they have it there? I don't know. And I'm violating my own rule. You have to be in court that day. You have to be in court that day. You have to see it. And I'm listening to this. It's like, did this man have any responsibility for any of this? Not that. I mean, just making the matters worse. First of all, no wonder he doesn't have a lawyer. No wonder. Who wants him? He doesn't listen to what you say. I would have told him, sit down and shut up. If I see one Truth Social, anything, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. You got it? Don't make my job worse. What are you doing? No, you don't understand. No, you don't understand. This didn't do anything for him. He took a $5 million case and they turned it into an $83 billion. I don't even think his lawyer, Kaplan, no relation to the judge, I don't even think she asked for punies at all. I think that the jury says, oh, no. Can we give him any more? They hated him. And people could say, wow, they hated him because it's Manhattan. Could be. They hated him because he's a Democrat. I mean, they're Democrats. Could be. They should have had a change of venue because 90% voted against him. Could be. Do you know how many times in court they say Al Chapo can't get a safe trial, a fair trial? John Gotti can't get a fair trial. When he's throwing the case. Jeffrey Dahmer can't get a fair trial. They've been doing this stuff since Murph the Surf. Everybody says it. You can't. How do you expect him to get a fair trial? Since the Chicago 7. And it's always not in this venue, not with that judge, not with this guy. And who was he appointed by? Who was appointed? Kaplan, the judge, appointed by, let me see. He was appointed by Lewis Kaplan by Bill Clinton. So of course he's a lefty. He's a lefty. Now, of course there's bias. Of course there's bias. There's always bias. There's bias against the case. There's bias against what you're in. You'd be surprised if somebody says, what are you charged with? What is he charged with? He's charged with child molestation. Oh, geez, we're screwed. There's bias. Well, that's what happens. How about drug trafficking? That sounds good. How about people charged with selling drugs within 1,000 feet of a public school? You like that charge? You think there's any bias there? Just reading it. How about the style of the case? The United States, well, no, actually, in a criminal indictment, it would say the United States of America versus Donald John Trump. If it was a criminal case, this was civil. Even the style of it. This is a federal judge, lifetime tenure, not a state judge, not a guy, not part of machine politics, not some Tammany Hall, New York. This guy's lifetime tenure. Can't get rid of him. He's there forever. He doesn't care. There was a guy, oh my God, Judge Jack Weinstein. Oh my God. He was the best. He didn't give a damn what you said. He was either the greatest or whatever. Federal judges, lifetime tenure. They don't care. Now, granted, they might hate you, But Trump took every chance he had, threw it away. I don't know how much they could have knocked down. I don't know how much they could have knocked down. When you're going after a rape victim, this is another one. This is another one. There was a case years ago. It was one of the most it was terrible. It's not funny. There was a woman. There was a guy. It was a court-appointed case. So the story goes. It was a court-appointed case, and this guy they were going to pack this guy away for like 3. They used to call it the Century Club. 100 years, 200, 300. This guy was just done. Had a court-appointed attorney, public defender, and the public defender said, "Listen, we got the victim on the stand. Is there anything you want me to ask her?" Because he's worried about a 3850 motion, one of these post-conviction relief, because the only thing you can do when your client loses is to go to prison and say what a terrible job you did as a lawyer. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. So he's covering his bases. So he went to his client, this dirtbag rapist, says, is there anything I should ask? And they said, yeah. He said, ask him. He said, yeah, ask her if the dude had a climax. He said, okay. He said, this is before DNA, but maybe, who cares? I'm asking the question. And the story goes, they said, ma'am, one more question. Did the man that you say did this to you, did he have a climax? And she said, and people have talked about this forever. If it's apocryphal, if it's embellished, but the story goes, when asked, did the man who did this to you have a climax? She said, no, he had a Ford Fairlane. And the judge immediately emptied the court out because they were afraid somebody was going to start laughing in front of this terrible thing. You've got a woman on the stand who claims she was raped by that man. And people always do this. Put a woman on. Have a woman defense lawyer. She'll be great. See, have a woman defense lawyer on, because then she can really go after this woman and attack her. What were you wearing? What did you do? If I remember, who was it? Didn't Joe Tacopina was talking about how could she have done this on these heels and like she something about she had high heels or something. So this Helena Hamana, they get her up there and she starts basically, you went up. Your reputation went up. You became more famous. And she said something which it was good. I'll give her credit. She said something to the effect of, because we live in a world now of social media, Trump can't be blamed. Trump can't be blamed for some kid sitting in a what am I trying to say, in a basement, with Cheeto dust, some loser. You know what I mean? You got that one? You got that? Now this is the thing which is really important. And I want to go through some of your observations. And also, do you know who are the worst with this? Women. Trump women fans. Women are the worst. They are the worst. Well, she didn't remember what day it was. That dress she said she wore, they didn't even make it then. Oh, so she's, I mean, just a man can't say this. Women are the worst when it comes to this. But I want you to stand by for 1 second and listen to me carefully, because something very, very important is coming up. And you know what I'm going to tell you? Because, I mean, we just added this on. On February the 3rd at the cutting room, people said, are you working on it? It works on itself. The routine, whatever they want to call this. This is something that is, this is beyond anything I've ever seen. It runs itself. It writes itself. It is the most, I can't say this enough. You can't, this isn't even, how do I say this? This isn't even, I guess, comedy. And those are the tickets. But let me tell you something. This is something that is so interesting. And what I don't understand is nobody ever says, I don't know anything about law. I don't know anything about law. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know about civil procedure. Now, here's the best part. This is the best part. Let me just read some of these. Because and a lot of these folks will, I don't want to call out names, but I'm going to read up. Okay. I'm going to read up. This is very interesting. Let me see. Straight out of the Democratic playbook. Again, what is straight out of the Democratic playbook? Trump's antics? Outrageous. The swamp gave heels up Haley orders to run. What is this? Trump, Haley is heels up. What do you call Donald Trump? Who was stooping everybody from, remember this, her name McDougal or something? Remember she was that we know of. Remember her? And then I think the National Enquirer bought her story. Then there was Dusty Saddles. That Botaneda. Oh my God. Rode hard and put up wet. He's got class. What about him? What about heels up? Well, no, we're not done yet. We're not done. I mean, this is the best. See, Nikki Haley's a tramp, a slut, a slattern, a grimalkin, a malkin, a meretrix, a variety. She's just, but Trump is, well, that's it's the way it is. Somebody says, I remember those dressing rooms. Okay. All right. They were tiny, but the counter was right there. So the jury, so what we're saying is it never happened. Okay. It never happened. And that jury who sat there for whatever reason, I always thought it was the weirdest, first of all. I mean, I thought at first, this, I could see somebody say, oh my God, there's Donald Trump. Can I help you today? And he got her he was so overwhelmed with her. He says, come on, let's go in this little room where I can be caught. I mean, the story, when I first heard it, and eventually I think it was digital penetration. What is he doing? He goes from 0 to 60. He walks into Bergdorf. Hey, I'm ready. Da-da-da-da-da-da. A lot of the story, but I wasn't there. I never heard the testimony. And she reportedly called her friend Lisa, was it Birnbach or something? I think she wrote the book about yuppies, or forgive me, don't quote me there, but I think it was. And she supposedly corroborated the event at the moment it happened. Did you know that? Well, that's good. That's interesting. I have little to no hope that our country can survive this attack by the radicals. They are winning. Are you taking this case, with all due respect, the radicals have won, not that they are winning. Are you taking the Donald Trump Bergdorf Goodman case as the radicals? Or do you really believe that there's just, I mean, well, he says, I don't even know who this woman is. Do you believe this was completely made up? The jury didn't. I wasn't there. I have no idea about her test. What really is bad, though, is when somebody says, she called me in 2019, wherever the hell it was, call me right away. That's interesting. Let me see this. They have got to our courts and are using them to destroy their political foes. Well, there is something called lawfare. Rudy, Trump, Alex. These verdicts are like this. There used to be this terrible joke about And I'm just hoping for a brain dead baby. Please, I'm not saying that. It's not funny. But when you had damages of a child, of an infant, who for the rest of his life had amortized medical treatment in the personal injury case, that was something. These cases are that category. 83 million? This woman's. Okay. Anyway. This is all about flipping Texas. Huh? We are a joke to the world. Many, yes, we are a joke. That is true. What do you think of this convoy? I don't know about the convoy. It was a made-up case. Okay. Completely made up. Somebody said, you don't mean that. Nobody means it. You're just saying that. Made up. Made up. Do you know how many, first of all, when somebody makes something up and it never happened? Something happened. The question is, was it consensual? Was it something that was again, the jury, I give a little bit more deference. Nobody deserves to be paid for being offended. You have just eliminated the jurisprudence of libel and slander. You've just absolutely, from Westmoreland to nobody you think that defamation, libel, slander, whatever, is being offended? See, this is great, because this I would go to members of the bar association and say, you better go into schools, because these people don't know anything about courts, but they swear they do because they watched. It all started with OJ. I think it was interesting. Meanwhile, 2 words, we have a crackhead living in the White House. That's true. How about, is the best thing going for him? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. With all due respect, it's the only thing going for him. His others have quit. I don't know why Takapita. I don't know who his people are. I don't know why they quit. What about what's his name? Not Moskowitz. Did you hear when she was trying to reopen, bringing up the DNA again, and the judge said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! We already did. No, don't bring this up. No, stick to this." And when you're basically saying she hasn't been how do I say this? We'll talk about this in a moment. Trump did nothing wrong. They punish him for free speech and offending the crazed woman. See, this is what people think. They just think she's just crazy. To appeal, he has to put up his everything with what the hell? I don't know what that means. They said assault. I don't know what that means again either. The crazed woman should be sued for lying and offending Trump. See, this is just bullshit. This is just somebody in a bar. Yeah, and she's crazy, and she's making it up. You understand? Ooh. But that's okay. We never understood how they proved liability for sexual assault that was not proved. It was proved. This is what, Teresa, they proved it. It was the first case. The jury said, okay, we believe it. What do you just can't make stuff up. You just can't sit back and say, well, they never proved it. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, the jury said, okay. And it withstood a motion for a directed verdict or judgment of acquittal for a civil case. I mean, they had litigation. I mean, the pre-trial, they did all this stuff. There was no move for settlement. There was no whatever it was. Trump's attitude was this: I don't know what you're talking about. This is crazy. What about this one? Well, I remember that event, and if I recall correctly, she was very, very flirtatious. I'm just assuming. I don't know whether this is even true, but what if she said instead she was very flirtatious? And yeah, we had a little bit of a momentary tryst, but it was consensual. I promise you. I promise you. I'm not going to attack a woman in a Bergdorf group. First of all, I don't. I'm not going to say I don't have to. But what did he say? She's not my type. She's not your type. What does that mean? Well, one could say that means if I'm going to sexually batter somebody, it has to be somebody who's my type. Do you see how stupid that is? Do you see how stupid to make fun of it? Well, shape, No, no. Look, you can do whatever you want. Do not include me in this. He can do no wrong. He's a genius. 4D chess. He screwed this thing up. I don't know what it would have been had he acted like a human being. I do not know. Could have been just 10 million versus 80 million. What's a chance for appeal? Next to nothing. Now the judge, there's something called remittitor. I don't know if it's going to apply here. The judge can sit there and say, okay, we're going to tone this thing down. I'm going to lower the damage. We'll take up some, motion for new trial. We'll look at this thing. It might be excessive. There's a certain degree of leeway, but the courts have always given great deference to a jury who sits there and says, look, we've been there before and we're listening to this. And I don't even know why anybody even cross-examined her. Why did you see Trump did a 3-minute? What was his testimony? Was it 3 minutes? 3 minutes? 3 minutes? And that jury's looking at him like he doesn't have any respect for us. None. Doesn't respect the judge, doesn't respect this, doesn't respect us, doesn't respect the victim. Oh, they were pissed at him. Whose fault do you think that is? The Democrats? Do you think so? And by the way, you know what I would say if I were whoever his, probably Gavin Newsom? If he doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut in a lawsuit, how is he going to be dealing with Xi Jinping or Putin or somebody else? How do you think if he loses his temper, if he goes nuts over something where all he had to do was just act respectful? That's all. And just make the jury think like, I don't know about this. They had to prove the case based upon the preponderance of the evidence, meaning just is it more likely than not that it happened? That's all they had to do. The burden was very simple. Is it more likely than not? But a lot of people still apply kind of a reasonable doubt. But if there was a different defense, if it was, well, it could have been, but I never did it. If he acted like he respected this woman, she might have been mistaken. If he had never said anything in Truth Social, if he had not had this Tourette's making fun of people that he does, if he just kept his mouth shut, you mean to tell me that this wouldn't have been better? Of course it would have been. But you see, today, this Trump derangement syndrome, I mean deranged people who just love him. They love everything about him. They just love everything he does is brilliant. Brilliant. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's just dumb. He does things all the time. And people that know him, people that love him, people that work with him say the same thing. Half of the time he can't get lawyers to represent him because he won't listen to them. He won't. And if you think that somehow, hey, this is great, they love him, then, I don't know how to break this to you. It's one thing when you're hit with some weird arcane, the first case with Alvin Bragg, where he misapplied the labeling of the whatever you want to, I don't know whatever the name of this thing was. Michael Cohen, when they paid Stormy Daniels the money, and then that was like bookkeeping. That seems like, oh, come on, that's chicken shit. Nobody cares about that. Okay, The Tish James thing, overappraised. What are you talking about? They, in this stupid law that's only a part of New York, that um, Jacob Javits came up with, this crazy law where nobody even complained. Okay, you can have some leeway with that. But this sexual battery, let me see if I can explain this to you. And I want you to use your head. Sexual battery, kids, trafficking, Epstein. See, people go crazy with sex. You want to get away from that. Now, this is nothing about a minor. This is nothing. Had there been an issue about consensual, if he even could have said it, that would have been a whole different thing. That would have been a whole different thing. I remember one time I interviewed in person. Oh God. Bob Barker. Remember Bob Barker? Bob Barker was accused by Diane Penny. It's one of the women who, would come out, the girls of Price is Right. And he was accused of having some tryst or something. So I was talking to him at the time. And I said to Bob Barker something effective. Well, when these women, how do they remember? And he goes, wait a minute. We had sex. I'm a widower. My wife died. It was consensual. We had sex all the time. I mean, he said it. We did it. She wanted to do it. I wanted to do it. There was nothing. I mean, this is Bob Barker. He's telling me that. I remember he had all this orange makeup on his collar from the makeup, and it was great. If Trump had said something, had the facts been like this, he goes, of course we had sex. Oh, I was a bit, do you ever hear about the Mile High Club? Well, this was the Bergdorf Goodman. Tacky, perhaps, but sexual battery? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This was clearly consensual. And if somebody would say later on, again, only if this is true, well, why do you think she picked up the phone and called her friend and said, I was attacked? Maybe it didn't go her way. I don't know. Maybe she felt rebuffed. Maybe she felt used. Maybe I was a cad. I don't know. But there's no law against being a cad. There's no law against being brusque and stupid and all this. But there is one against sexual battery. And I promise you that involves non-consent. And this was consensual. Had that been the case, that would have been a different story. But what does he do? I don't remember. You're crazy. It never happened. I don't know who you are. Then there's a picture of her with, was it Marla Maples at the time? And she was with that. There was an African-American, John Jorgensen or whatever his name was. He was a very renowned anchor here. And there was a picture and they were there. But no, he had to go on social media. Truth Social. He had to keep it up and go after the judge and go after the lawyer and go after everybody. Instead of telling you and me, what does he want to do when he runs for president? What does he want to do? What is he going to do to help me? But to his acolytes, oh no, they love him. He's so smart. This is great. This is stupid. And the longer that you keep putting up with this and nodding and saying, no, this is good, Trump, you're fueling him. My country is at stake. You don't understand. This is a game to you. You think there's some kind of a game, I guess. You must think this is some kind of fun. We got 283 days until the election. 283 days, and you think this is some joke. You think this is about him being brilliant. And the system is screwed up, and the liberals, and you're worse. You're enabling him. Not only that, these people are the most unsophisticated people. I hope you never go to a court, because if this is the way you look at it, you're doomed. You are doomed. You have to act as though John Gotti had more respect for the jury than Trump did. John Gotti did. He sat there and he looked the part, and he might have looked, and he didn't roll his eyes. He didn't mumble. They told Hamana. They told her a couple of times, listen, you better we can hear him storm off in the middle. I'm not going to hear this. What does that look like to you? It looks like you're guilty. But oh no, you love him. He's great. He's terrific. He's brilliant. He can do no wrong, right? You keep enabling him. And that's great, but he happens to be our only choice. And he's going to lose this damn thing if he keeps it up. Now, I don't understand what kind of a Svengali hold he has on people. I don't get it. I don't understand it. You think this young, did you see her in front of coming to a Trump house? She's walking out with her satchel and her, she's loving this. And who wouldn't? It's great for her career. And she's all the other lawyers have taken off. She's the last one standing. Okay. I think there was somebody else. I don't even know who his lawyers are. But these others took the last train for the coast. But she's there, and she comes out and she's yelling at the judge. The guy that you're going to, listen to this, who you're going to ask, please, Judge Kaplan. I like when they say, no relation to the trial lawyer. Please, Judge Kaplan, lower this amount. But by the way, I'm going to go out there. Are those lights? Alita, look, those are lights. Are those cameras? Oh, I'm going to show you. And she comes out and she's furious. Oh, that's brilliant. Brilliant. Piss the judge off even more. And then go back and ask him, would you reconsider? Because he has a lot of leeway. If he says, look, I was there, I don't think 83 million. I think 40 million, but whatever. Only she would go out and piss off everybody. It's all fixed. Brilliant. But you love this because you think it's all, it's a game to you. It's all fun and it's Twitter and, and the usual people, and you can have, whatever. Alex Jones, I don't know what Alex Jones could have possibly have done, but even he acted a little bit better during his damages case. Remember, his case was a default. They kept saying he couldn't even answer the question because it was defaulted. That might have been incorrect. They're not going to relitigate the guilt part of it, but nobody cares about this. No, but you think it's great. You think she did a great job by going out after the verdict and just insulting everybody. Even more so after the judge told you, I'm going to put you in lockup. I would have turned to my lawyer and said, what are you doing to me? Now you're showing a lack of respect. You're showing contempt for the court. They're looking at you and me, and we look like a couple of jadruls here. But you think that's great. You think that's terrific because this is all bullshit, right? This is just, this liberal, whatever it is. And I understand that. You can think that all you want. I wouldn't even dare. I was going to go over the International Court of Justice. Oh, I'm not even going to touch that with you. I love you, but you're not going to like this one. I'll save that for the private channel because I swear to God. I was at an event the other night. It was don't ask me how I got invited. Don't ask me. And again, I hear this. I don't know what the word is. I don't know. I'm not sure what this word is, but there's this sense of Trump is just a genius and he can do no wrong. And everything he does is genius. Remember the 4D chess? Remember when people did, oh, he's genius. He's a genius. 4D chess. me give you another one. By the way, that's, if you want, that's the private channel. The International Court of Justice. Oh, are you seeing what's going on? Do you have any idea why this is important? America thinks, oh, this is just October the 7th. October the 7th has nothing to do with this. Well, it should. They attacked Israel. They're not talking about it's pre-October. Nobody even understands that. Let me leave you with this. If the UN starts coming after us after this, after the ICJ says, whoa, you know, we've got some respect now. You see Uganda's response? Even did Israel abstain? And who delivered the result? The United States judge. Oh, this is scary. Why? Because part of our shtick has always been we hate globalism. We don't want some outboard country coming along and telling us what to do. So what's happening right now is they have, and it's a really weird, they didn't order a ceasefire, but they found there to be genocide. I'm thinking, oh, wow. Do you think anybody realizes this? No. They're taking Elon. Did you see Elon Musk at Auschwitz? Are you seeing what's going on here? No, because you're following American news. And you're living in a little bubble. You're in this bubble, little fishbowl, where you don't really know Israel, but it's over here. But you also don't understand what's happening regarding Trump. This is the biggest thing ever. I was talking to somebody the other day. I said, you do know that Biden, this is a Republican. This is an operative, right? An operative. I said, you know that Biden's not going to do it. They're going to pull a 1968 LBJ. Well, that was Vietnam. No. That's an analogy. This is an analogy. They can't even follow the goddamn analogy. No. This is what he's doing. Why do you think Gavin Newsom met with Xi Jinping? Why did they set him up? Did you see him in the Hill? You're going to start seeing him more and more and more. The wine country and this and how he did the debate with Newsom, and he's there. Do you see what's happening? Oh, no, not him. Because they don't like him, and they're confusing strategy with what they don't like. Like people who think that Trump is such a genius because they like him. This is ridiculous. This is nuts. That I don't even understand any of this. Now, his case in his law cases, the first one with Alvin Bragg, absolute nonsense. Agree 100%. He will not only, if that thing doesn't get dismissed, or I don't even know what that is. That thing is a dog. The Jack Smith case, ooh, that's got a lot of leeway, a lot of working. He's looking much better than I thought he would. The Georgia case, oh no, there is a God. Oh, there is a God. Fani Willis and her Gumara, whatever, Gumaro or whatever you want to call him, his Pieso, his Tipo. All of a sudden, she hiring him. This guy was a traffic judge or something, traffic court, and now he's doing one of these. And the money he's getting, they're going. I mean, Trump. That's the one that Trump should have worried about. He's going to walk away from that, and all these other people pled. Sidney Powell, the Kraken, Jenna Ellis, they all pled. And this thing may be dismissed. All right, so that's okay. All of his cases look good except this rape case. And anybody with two neurons rubbed together would have said, we're going to make this one go away. We're going to be so under the radar. We're going to show respect to every woman in the world. Do you know how many women? Yes, many women, they despise E. Jean Carroll. They said she's a money. They're the worst. Women can be one or the other. I'm sorry to say this to you. I've heard them show, because they're always Trump. You know, they're Trump people. But There's also a case right now. Vince McMahon. You think she's making that one up too? Do you think this woman who claims that he defecated on her and all this stuff during threesomes and they named sex toys after black wrestlers, you think she's making that up too? Now, granted, it's just an accusation. You know what people are saying? Well, is he running for anything? No. Is he Trump? No. Is he a Republican? Well, maybe. No. Okay, we'll listen to her then. But if it's Trump, we don't believe it. None of it. That's the way people think. So all this stuff going on now, and you've got some soccer mom. I hate that expression. Or you've got some woman out there, maybe middle age, and he's making fun of how she looks. He said, well, I wouldn't rape somebody who looked like that. Well, who would you rape? Did you hear what he said? She's not my type. We're not talking about the dating game. We're talking about sexual battery. This is how stupid this guy is. And you think that's going to help with a lot of women who say, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, I was giving him a shot there, but I don't know. With all of the stuff we're talking about with sexual battery and sexual trafficking and children, no. Good luck with that one. You tell me where I'm wrong with that one. You try your best. Try your best. Because let me explain something, and this may come as a shock to you. We're on the same team here. We're on the same team. I want this guy to win. I want him to win so they can go in and break up this coven, this cadre of commies, whatever you want to call them. You understand that? Let me take a breather right now. This gets me very upset because I want to talk about pillows and another brave guy too. Mike Lindell, this poor SOB, is out there busting his hump to make the best company, and they're after him too. But you can fix that. All right, my friend. It's time to hail and salute our great friends at mypillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you get a free gift. No purchase necessary. I know a free gift. It's a tautology, so sue me. But listen carefully. What are we talking about? Giza Dream Bed Sheets, My Pillow 2.0, sheets, slippers, percales, towels, quilts, bedspreads, mattresses, mattress covers, mattress toppers, linens, kitchen towels, bathrobes, name it. Items to help you luxuriate and relax. Think about it. And they're monster sellers right now. Listen to me. Slippers. My slippers. Think about it. What do they do with My Pillow? They make things real soft and plush and comfy. How perfect. And when they apply that genius to slippers, look out. Look out. Look at the specials right now, but only if you use promo code Lionel. So go to mypillow.com/Lionel. Solid disproval. mypillow.com/Lionel or call 800-645-4965. Call right now and watch how fast Mike answers the phone. mypillow.com, the best. Okay, listen to this. Sean says, McMahon is a Trump supporter and friend. They are coming for us all. Do you think they're coming for Vince McMahon? Do you think this is made up? I know I'm asking a stupid question because you're going to say, he doesn't want us to say this. So say whatever he doesn't want you to say. Do you think Vince McMahon, they're making this up? Do you think that Vince McMahon says, I did what? What? Who is she? You think that? Seriously. Vince McMahon? You see what's going on with the internal? You think they made all that up? Do you? Do you? Do you? You got this? Look at this one. Yeah, there are. Yeah, they are. Any New Yorkers, the mayor is trying to stop social media from saying anything about health. You're right, Donna. What about your boy, Ron DeSantis, who doesn't want kids to have social media? I mean, what? What? You think that makes sense? Kids, social media. Women, what? There's no First Amendment? What are you talking about? Let me tell you something. I don't want any of you wonderful people on my defense. First of all, I hate any kind of defense, sexual abuse defense. Hate it. We had a case one time. I think the closest I ever came was it was a disposition. It was meaning it was a plea. I mean, they were just loading this guy. I mean, but I said, I'm not going to be cross-examining kids and no. Sorry, not interested in that. Do you know how many times women say, I'm not going to get involved in this? Why? How come he didn't call the police right now? How come he didn't do it? Do you know how many women right now are listening right now? If I ask every woman, do you have an instance in your life when you were on a date, maybe something, where you thought, or it could have been flat out 100% rape. 100%. But short of that, do you know how many women say, I'm not going to, I didn't say anything. People who have been, and it might not have been, but people who were attacked. Remember those Les Moonves stories? Dear God. The women who are, let's say, single moms and they have insurance and they say, or they're just scared and they don't respond. Oh, how come you didn't respond? You don't even know what day of the week it was. Was it a Tuesday or was it a Wednesday? I don't know if it was a Tuesday or Wednesday, but this scar back here, I got that. People love that stuff. I can't do it. That's the most ridiculous thing in the world. I used to love to do this closing argument. Every now and then, sometimes what happens. I said, let me tell you about eyewitness testimony, which is the worst, by the way. I've been with you fine folks for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever it is. What was my tie? Remember that we have to wear a tie every day. What color tie did I wear the first day? Come on, you were there. I was here in front of you for hours. What color was it? Everybody write it down. Red, blue, but what? You don't remember, do you? What? So I wasn't here? You don't remember the tie color, but I wasn't here? No. You ever sit around and talk to people in your family about what happened? My mother, bless her heart, would tell stories and I'm saying, that never happened. Because we remember kind of what we said last time. So people, I love the fact that they have these ideas that, well, you never called the police. You got the time wrong. What was it, 10 o'clock? It was 11 o'clock. Are you kidding me? Do yourself a favor. The next time, just do yourself a favor. You go into a McDonald's or a drive-thru or go into a Dollar Tree. Just make a note of it. Say it's Saturday. It's by 9 o'clock. Take a picture of the woman or whatever, the clerk. See her clothes. Remember the time. Take a little screenshot. And then a couple of days later, turn to your mother or your friend or your spouse, whatever, and say, let me ask you a question. Remember when we went into Dollar Tree? I love Dollar Tree. Did you ever go to Dollar Tree? Yeah. What day was that? The other day. What day was it? Come on, we were just there. What day was it? Wednesday. Okay, fine. Did you catch her name? Who? The woman's name, the clerk. The clerk? No, we talked to her for 5 minutes. Remember that? What was her name? I don't know what her name was. Can you describe her? White lady? What time was it? I don't know what time it was. You want to talk about memory? And that was just the other day. You know why? Because you weren't paying attention. Add to it stress. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. Put things into perspective. One time I had a DUI case. Told the jury, I said, yeah, he didn't do too well in this field sobriety test. Do you see this? He's out there. He's scared out of his mind. His heart's pounding. He has this guy with a light. They've got strobe lights all over the place. He is out in a parking lot doing calisthenics as people drive by. Asshole. He's scared. He's freaking out. And he didn't get his nose right? Are you kidding me? What are we? Put it into perspective. And there's a big difference between not remembering what happened in terms of the dress you were wearing, but saying that it never happened. Now, Trump could have done something. He could have said the best would be a consent defense. Oh, no, I remember that. Sure. Did you do it? Absolutely. Let me tell you how bad that is. In California in particular. I'll never forget this case. I read it. It was a Supreme Court case. Girlfriend, boyfriend. They were having sex. Okay? And they had sex before they were girlfriend and boyfriend. So they were engaged in it. And at one point, she says to him, I've got to go. He thought that meant, wrap it up, You know what I mean? Yeah, okay. She didn't say, get off me or leave me alone. She said, I got to go. Later on, a jury believed that she had withdrawn consent and that he had to withdraw himself. And they convicted him of rape because of the consent. This was a California case. I'll never forget that. I was like, oh my God. Oh. And you better tell your young men and women. Okay? We also have another thing too. A while back, they thought it was a real good idea to say, let's open up let's change the statutes of limitations to allow people to bring cases against their third grade priest, Father Mulvaney. Guy's 65 years old. Father Mulvaney's been dead for a year, but I'm going to charge him. And all of a sudden, St. Thomas Aquinas of Brooklyn, they've got 50, 100 cases. It's like, what? When did this happen? 50, 60 years ago? Now, from a victim's point of view, you could say, excuse me, there should be no statute of limitations. Cold cases for murder, right? Well, that's what this is. From a defendant's point of view, it's a different story. You got to ask yourself, what about due process? There are all kinds of ways to do it. And the best thing to do is when you're walking in there, I would have told Trump, you are not liked. We cannot do anything. You better not say anything in your social media about this. Number two, I want you to look respectful. Every time the jury walks in, you stand up, former president. Don't get that smug, arrogant look. Don't whisper under your breath. If you have something to write, say something, write it down and show me later. Just pay attention, look respectful, and hope to God these people don't hate you as much as I think they hate you. And whatever you do, don't piss the judge off. Don't piss the judge off. He says he's going to lock. I've never been accused of being locked up. What? One time we had the funniest thing. There was this great guy, great public defender, one of the best lawyers ever. And there was this, you walk down this hallway, you open the door, and then you walk into this huge courtroom. He thought that his timing was off. He opens the door and he turns to this guy down the hall and goes, yeah, you don't think I'm some stupid son of a bitch who's going to do that? He turns and it's the judge and packed. He had his time off. And the judge said, I will see you after court. Now he's got to make a big scene. So this poor guy calls me up. He says, do you remember? I said, hey, I heard about it. He goes, well, do you remember what I was saying? It wasn't disrespect for the judge. Do you remember what I was saying to so-and-so? I said, yeah, I remember what you said. What did I say? I said, you said you thought that judge was a stupid son of a bitch and he should be. I said, I did. Anyway, we're kidding around. That's as close. You never see a lawyer lock up federal court. Federal court is like the most pristine. When you're sworn into the Southern District, it's like this, you feel like you've won the Nobel Prize. It's so the decorum, and it's like, oh my, this is the Southern District, famous. This is the most famous. I mean, it's just like church. I'm going to put you in lockup. What is this? County court? This is the level of the Trump fandango. And she thinks it's great going up and saying, oh, she's on fire. I don't want a lawyer on fire. James LaRosa, who was Paul Castellano's lawyer, fantastic. Philip Corboy, one of the best. Harold Price Farringer, oh my God, they looked like respectful, quiet. People loved them. Lawyers loved them. Judges loved them. Clerks loved them. The day my lawyer is threatened with lockup, oh my God, what are we doing? But that's good for Fox News, huh? She's on the phone, maybe, I don't know, with her agent. How'd I do? You're all over the place. You're on fire. Wow, everybody wants to talk to you. You're the hottest thing in town. Great. What about Trump? Who? What about Trump? Oh, yeah, he's okay. I don't want to second guess lawyers because you got to know what they're there. We're not, but I guarantee you. Oh, you know who had the best line from a lawyer was this guy Daniel Penny. You know the Marine who in the choke case, his lawyer said, when the judge denied the motion to dismiss, he says, we understand that the burden is rather minimal for the case to go forward, and we have nothing but respect for the court and the judge. We obviously disagree with it, but we will address this later on in a tribunal of proper jurisdiction. And thank you very much. And that was it. Beautiful. Don't make him a target. Don't say this judge is a coward. He should have dismissed. Because the judge says, I may not be able to get you, but I can get your client. I can make it real bad for him because you got a big mouth. No, it was perfect. That's what you want to do. You respect. The jury has spoken. And you also begrudgingly, I'd like to congratulate my opponent, Ms. Kaplan, who did a fine job, and the jury. We always thank them for taking time out of their day, because we've got to remember that without a jury, this system would collapse. Whether you agree with this or not. Like to thank Judge Kaplan, no relation, because you always got to say that. And we'll pursue now with my client with our post-trial remedies and availability, up to and including motions for new trial, motions for remitted, appeal, and thank you very much. And that's it. And we go, what a nice guy. Go off into the woods. And I see, now we're going to let them forget about us. Because if there's anything that's going on, we want them just to forget about us. Let them go on with their life. These motions may take forever. You don't want them to say, I don't care, I'm going to get that guy back. But that's Trump. See, because Trump he doesn't care. He just, And the first thing I would say is, if I was Gavin Newsom, I'm saying, if this guy pisses off his judge, you want him to talk to Xi Jinping? You want the great negotiator to talk to Putin with nuclear weapons? Let's hope he didn't hear that. Okay? So that's that. All right, dear friends, let me ask you this. Give you a long time. I hope you understand something. I am your teacher. I am your professor. I am here to tell you the truth. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to tell you you're great. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. That's it. You tell me, or I tell you. It's realism. This isn't for the weak. If you want to hear some namby-pamby, you want to hear Glenn Beck, you go ahead. Bless his heart. Very nice man. He'll always make you feel happy. Always make no. I treat you like with respect, like a colleague, like a peer. Okay. By the way, you better go and you better sign up right now for Mrs. L's YouTube channel, which is some of the best stuff you'll ever see ever. You do it right now because that is an important message that is being ignored. I'm going to say this one more time to you. I'm going to say this one more time. This is serious business. This isn't some joke for me. This isn't like, hey, let's talk about. No. My country is at stake. And the guy who's, if Trump wasn't running for president, who cares? Go, any lawsuit. I don't give a damn. Say whatever you want. Do whatever you want. What's your problem? But he happens to be our only chance. And anything that affects his voter worth, his reelectability, affects us. You got that? That's the only reason I care. Other than that, knock yourself out. Do whatever you want. Okay? All right. We'll see you tonight at 7 p.m., kids. Don't forget the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.